Well, hello, my loves. Good morning. Hi, how are we? Mhm. Oh man, it's been compelling to revisit the seat. The main thing, coming back to the T, capital T, being in the place to be, which is the soul seat, the heart center, in the present moment, aligned, active, awake, and in awe. And so here we are, for the umpteenth time. Love that, to like a limitless degree, to be able to come back and do what it is that I love to do, is the intersection of my love language and um, God given gifts. Let's be real. The communication factor, having cafecitos, being with oneself and sharing the goods with you. It's what I love to do. And I go through cycles, and we all go through cycles. Oh, but do we? And I think it's pretty neat when you tack on that awareness, that awareness builds and it builds, and it's like, oh, there my human goes through that. It's like the cycle, the wash cycle, the spin, and when you start to recognize at what, like what little button is pressed for you currently, and then you can have a lot more fun with it rather than try and stuff it away or make it be something else, or go, oh, I hate this part, can we skip to the good part? And it's like, no, there's so much to learn every time we go through that spiral, within ourselves. Lessons learned, teachers appear in the most creative ways, where we meet ourselves and we discover, and we continue to learn and deepen in our self-trust, our self-belief, and our self-love. That's the good stuff. So I'll tell you that I recently just went through, I mean, it's very definitive, actually. I have dates specific to it, which is, a personal portal. And in and amongst that personal portal, it was jam packed. Not only was it collective portal energy, but the personal factor was there too. And I think when those two meet, it's like kibosh, kaboom, central. So obviously, it being Scorpio season, it being a time when my soul sister Moana was here visiting in my home. We hadn't seen each other in 3 years. It marked the 3 year 3 year, what do we call this, anniversary memorial of the last time that I was journeying with my mom and in the RV there. So it's 3 years. It's also Dia de los Muertos. So this is um this is beautiful, because I really feel like this was maybe the first time that I was able to, well, let's just say, it's been, I guess, 2.5 years since my mom's passed, and this was the first time that I put her photos in a frame. And I had these flowers, just these little bougainvilleas in a small vase. And, they were there the moments that I found out that she was passing. And then to the day she passed. So that was a 5 week, and I still save those flowers, dried flowers. They're actually leaves, but they're pretty. Yeah. And so it really felt monumental in so many ways, because I think that there was a deeper acknowledgement that I had not yet experienced, that my mom was, in fact, not returning. She was, because she was invited back in the land of Mexico. Dia de los Muertos, what an incredibly rich and beautiful, culturally magnificent time to be here. It was such a gift. The energy was immense, a little overwhelming, to be honest, but so amazing that there was such openness, and like, that's just what's happening. Like, that's just what's up. Everyone's come. We're all, here. Come on back, please. So, you know, that was really special to share with Mo, because I was alone while she passed, right? And so I had my own little things over the years and little moments and rituals and stuff, but like it felt kind of official, you know? So that was really special. And you know, as a Scorpio, I always, you know, I'm always gonna bang on about this. You know, I think we should always be banging on about ourselves, but with those four placements I have in Scorpio, I like to go to the dark often. It's a place, it's a haunt I like to visit. It's like my favorite little, you know, hole in the wall dive bar kind of thing. I'm like, sign me up, man. I'm here for it. But you know what? This is the first time that I really took that intentional space to be fully with everything that wanted to kind of recalibrate within myself. You know, narratives slashed, old, you know, non-relevant, expired narratives were like, no, thank you, don't want this. That's not happening. And so it was a time of, like, obviously, so like sometimes several in a day. It was like the completion and the new beginning. There it was. Here's this, and now here's that. And so it was really cool to have that Scorpio time that I have experienced several times before, but have it actually be a little more active than rather, you know, when I go to the dark and I just completely surrender to it and I go, oh, you know, and then it's like a little ding goes off in my heart's oven and says, you're done, time to get back, time to kind of bring it back. But, you know, this is the first time I'd really shared it and met someone as special as Moana in it. And we to share it was amazing, you know. And so, yeah, I took the space from social media. I took the space from, I'll just go, you know what, I really need this space right now. Like, what there's so much richness here. So how dare I dismiss that? I'm right here for it. You know what I mean? We'll make sense of it after. We'll piece it together. We'll come together. We'll have cafecitos together after, you know? So I want to ask you, what are your personal portals? Do they happen every year? Do they happen, like, what's kind of their cadence? And how do you know that you're in them? What do you what's the process for you? Can you identify, can you feel them coming up? Are they like, oh, hey, you know, do you give them the space that they ask of you? Or do you go, inconvenient, no thank you, let me know? Okay, what do we want to go? Oh, yes. Well, I love the thing, keep the main thing, you know. But for really, really creative folks and with so many interests and passions and ways to facet our energy, we want to go, I want to play here and then I want to jump over here and like then it's tough. We go, oh, is the main thing boring? No, it's not ever. The main thing is the tap. It gives life to everything that you want to experience, every project, every pathway you want to dance down, every, you know, everything. It's like, it's your source, dude, you know? So keep the main thing and see how being consistent with that, being so ride or die with the main thing is actually, you know, provides an infinite amount of keys that you'll need for these various outlets, expressions of you, different ways of interacting, creating connection in the world, opening portals of abundance, whatever have you, you know. So it's like, where does my love language and my like skill set and like my constitution and like also my favorite thing, where do those really intersect? Where do they meet? What is it? And how close to that am I right now? How much am I allowing that to be my most prominent expression in the world. Honestly, so for me, that main thing is communication, is, speaking, it's being in flow. It's when I feel closest to God. I feel the most myself. I feel the most in love. I feel the most lit up. And there have been several times along the timeline where that kind of, we put a little back burner. And we do that. Why? Because we want to keep relevant and have a sense of, let's say it, let's call it out for what it is. We want to be validated in that. So if we don't see it quick time, turnaround time, then we're going to latch onto something else. Maybe the thing that we see other people do so often, whatever. I mean, social media, obviously, perfect example. It's like you put out a couple risky or like vulny posts, or like you post a couple times a day and then nothing really comes from that. No. And then you're like, oh, I guess that wasn't the thing. It's the thing. Let yourself display, showcase, and believe in your main thing, because it actually 100% is. So that, I mean, how many times have I recommit and publicly? And I'm okay with that. I'm like totally okay with that. And I think I'm going to keep, various, there are going to be pockets, going to be personal portals, but always know, and this is me saying this to me, and then also allowing you to hear it, witnessing it for whatever it needs to be for you, is like, come on back to the seat of your soul, because this is where you come from. It's where you belong. It's where you return to. It's the most freeing access point that you'll ever have, so make sure that you're letting that live and breathe and express itself. And yeah, I mean, we hold ourselves back from what it is that we want the most. We end up, sucks, happens, and I always say, like, I'm not any kind of formal student. I'm very much a student of life. I'm a very curious person. And I very much speak only from my personal lived experience, which means I'm only ever in a position where I'm in service to others from something that I personally too have experienced and lived through. And so now I'm going to jump onto the topic of pigeonholing, because it's been a thing. And I've worked through this over the personal portal. So, yeah. And I was like, wow, okay. We really like to put these little cages around us, and go, oh, that's safe there. Ooh, that will get a response from people, like, ooh, okay, let's just stay on this pitch, because it's where we've practiced and it's where we've played the game. But what about it's time for what's it called? Tournaments. So your skill set then goes on to different pitches. You got to be willing to travel and to take the essence of what what you play, what all of that richness that you've gathered from that main, and take it out, move it out. And then you go, oh, yeah, okay. I think at a certain point now, I recognize that I'm really ready for a larger field, or whatever. Again, the metaphor is that's what's happening. But you don't need to pigeonhole yourself. You don't need to stay where you've been. You can outgrow it. You can have new experiences. They're waiting for you. They're asking to be adored by you so that they can adore you, and that, you can invite more of that love that you're desiring, more abundance, more playfulness, whatever your main top values are, bring them into the field of you. Yeah. So it's like when I say I've always, worked with people that in stages that I was just like currently in, right? And it's like I've had for quite a while, it might be my longest stint here is like being, putting the cap on saying I'm a mentor for creative entrepreneurs, which basically means to me is that I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years. I'm really well versed. I've had a lot of experience and I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm ready to take that off and have a lot more welcome in my field, because I personally am in a place in my life where I'm not just super, super focused on one aspect, on one, pathway, whether it's the entrepreneur's path, it's the creator's path, whatever. I'm like, oh, what about that though? So I'm like, as I widen my capacity and I ready myself for new experiences, that means that the work that I offer also shifts. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that a beautiful thing? So instead of it being entrepreneur focused, because I no longer feel entrepreneur focused, I feel more expressive focused. I feel more conversational, more entertaining, more create, like it's all the same really, but less so about like the service or the here, show up, do this course here, where's the next workshop, how's this gonna, like I'm kind of like, I don't know. So anyway, I'm trusting this new opening and also sending out the invitation to join me on that journey as well. So by tuning in, by sharing love, by pulling up a seat, by sitting in the co-pilot here, and we can ride together. And whatever that looks like, we're keeping it super cryptic and vague for now because that's my baseline. Yes, but we'll explore more about that soon. I feel like this is a natural little wrap here. So I believe that I'm going to go ahead and put this on a multitude of platforms, because why the heck wouldn't I? We're not in that game of limitation right now, my friends. We're in the game of extending ourselves with ease and making it, showing all of our streams of light and letting it be what it is. Yeah. And believing in ourselves like fiercely. Crazy. So much belief, so much love. That's great. I'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in, my loves.